Hey everybody, it's PartyElite. Welcome you to the kickoff of a brand new Let's Play on the channel, one that I've been extremely excited for a very, very long time. Folks, we are finally diving into IXION. I have been looking forward to this game since it was first announced with a thrilling reveal trailer, and after having played it during Steam Next Fest earlier this year, I believe it was, I only got more excited for what I can only best describe quickly as Frostpunk in space. It's got a lot of similar vibes, it's dark and moody, and it also has a lot of similar mechanics as far as the colony management and survival mechanics are concerned. So I've been very excited for this, and I want to say a big thanks to the developers for giving me early access to the game so I could showcase it on the channel. And without any more time to waste, folks, let's go ahead and begin said showcase.
Launch control, we have Tiqqun clearance for shuttle launch. Initiate Stanford protocol.
Flying procedures, check. Guidance go.
EA algorithm online.
Batista safety protocol, check.
Launch control to EMB Charon. All systems are go.
Launch is imminent. Personnel are instructed to evacuate the launch pad. Tiqqun to EMB Sharon. You have clearance for final approach. EMB Sharon, you have been assigned to Tiqqun Docking Bay. Welcome on board, passengers. Shuttle EMB Sharon is now docked. Sector 1 empowered and pressurized. Munchie decontamination protocol online. Disembarkation authorized. Message to crew members. Welcome on board the Tiqqun, property of Dolus Aerospace Engineering Corporation. You will soon be given your assignments, but until then, please continue to wait near the docking bay. We hope you have a productive voyage, and would like to thank you for your contribution towards humanity's future. Administrator, I am Eden, the personal assistant installed on board the Tiqqun. In accordance with the Munchie Protocol, I have been designed to take into consideration your complete psychological profile so that I may more accurately respond to any needs you may have. My primary purpose is to ensure the Tiqqun's automated systems function efficiently. I will keep track of the tasks that are necessary for you to fulfill your prerogative of reaching Proxima Centauri and carrying out field research, mining operations, manufacturing protocols, and Dolos colonization tests.
Alright folks, as you can probably tell, this game is extremely cinematic. It is also very well written and voice acted and characterized too. The initial episode over here is going to introduce us to a lot of core mechanics, and I'll describe them as we go along because I'm familiar enough with the game to not need the tutorial, at least not for the initial steps that I was able to play during the Next Fest. But apart from that as well, we're going to meet a lot of the very important characters who are going to introduce us to some of the darker aspects of our mission and some of the risks involved as well. I do find them absolutely wonderfully voice acted and written, so I'm very excited to again meet them again, I suppose, and for you to meet them and to start sort of seeing the immediate unraveling of what seems to be a rather hopeful mission to find a new home for humanity.
Administrator, I wanted to introduce you to your first tasks personally. I'm Dolos' cryonics lead, Marduk Council member Giovanni Battista. So, let's see. Your first objective will be to begin setting up essential infrastructure aboard the Tiqqun, meeting the environmental conditions that are required to support your crew. Having laid these foundations, you will then oversee the installation of the Vol engine and perform a short test jump to Proxima Centauri. Upon arrival, your research teams will carry out a brief survey of local space, gather a few rock and coal dust samples, fire up the colonization protocol, begin building the foundations for mankind's future, yada yada yada. And then you'll come back.
Simple.
Now, in order to achieve this, you'll need to familiarize yourself with the Tiqqun's core functions. It's no big deal. There's the production, stockpiling and distribution of resources, construction, balancing of power output with allocation. Oh, and space exploration, setting out expeditions and all that. Basically, everything needed to establish scientific advancement and harmonious autonomy on board the Tiqqun following the first test of its Vol engine. Eden's gonna display and keep track of your main objectives. Oh, and Administrator, don't let the position go to your head. Veneer has insisted to center Dolos' focus on the Tiqqun, but this mission is just in preparation for our next project, the Protagoras. The Marduk Council worked damn hard to pull this mission together ahead of schedule. So, toe the line, do as you're told, and bring the Tiqqun back in one piece. Leave the grand gestures and saving of mankind from ecosystemic destruction to us, okay? One last word of advice. We don't all think like Veneer Dolos. As of yet, no human law has been officially established amongst the stars. That sounds like an opportunity knocking to me.
Like I said, there's a darker veneer to this entire game, and ulterior motives basically start cropping up immediately, and I'm really excited to explore some of those things as we go further and further along. Again, folks, this will be my first time actually delving into the story beyond the Next Fest demo as well, so we'll be going through all of the reveals, twists, and turns together, and I cannot wait to be surprised by what this game has planned. I just want to mention as well, if you like this kind of game, if you enjoy what you see today, and if you would like to see the series continue on the channel, folks, please don't hesitate to let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. It does make a very big difference in just letting me know what people are interested in watching on the channel, letting me know what I should, pursue, what I should speed up, slow down as far as release timelines are concerned. So if you're having a good time with IXION on the channel, if you'd like to see it continue, hit the like button, leave a comment, and we'll keep it going until everything crashes and burns or we see success for humanity's new colony. Now, the first order of business here is to build up a workshop. This workshop is actually where a mech will physically step out from in order to go around and build buildings and do various tasks. So the location of buildings actually matters in this game because resources are physicalized and construction workers and things like that are all physicalized as well. So placing them appropriately is crucial to smooth sailing and smooth operations, because at times we'll be in sort of an emergency situation, and for something to take a bit too long to get to where it needs to be can be the difference between life and death, right? So let's go ahead and place this workshop down in our little central-ish spot over here. I think facing this way makes perfect sense. Hopefully we'll be able to build the road up. As you can see, again, we've got a road building mech, but we also have a separate construction mech that'll go around building buildings as it becomes relevant. And now our next objective is to build up a stockpile. So stockpiles, of course, come in different sizes, and they can each only store a single resource. Right now, as you can see, our sector over here, of which there are many, will unlock over time, but this sector over here is just covered with all kinds of junk that we can actually store elsewhere and clear up some room, basically. In order to do that, though, we have to be very strategic about our approach, because we can only stockpile 100 units of a specific resource at a time, and so we have to make sure we're clearing space strategically. Let's get the stockpile placed over here, right next to our little workshop over there, and we'll need a road connection as well, of course. We'll have this cut through and build more sort of stockpiles and perhaps construction or work-related items over here, and maybe save this region down over here for like residential and medical needs and that sort of thing. One thing to keep in mind is that we want to make sure that the edges are kept clear, because some things can only be built along the edge to give access, of course, to the exterior of the Tiqqun, but also to the greater space around us, right? There's a lot of work that actually takes place beyond our own sort of, well, beyond Tiqqun, I should say, and we, of course, do need to have access to all that, and so we need to be careful about keeping the edges clear as best as possible, but we also can take solace in the fact that we can't actually get rid of the sector sign, so nothing too tall can be built over here, which is why I'm using this as our initial space to, yes, stockpile some goods and build some initial buildings as well. Let's get this stockpiling alloys. And let's go ahead and assign which ones. I mean, we're pulling in 15 from there. We can only store 100. So why don't we go ahead and pick up another 10, 63, oh my goodness, and 28. I mean, we're coming very close to maxing out with just these. So why don't we start with these guys, because I believe they are a fair bit smaller. And let's go ahead and build some roads out to connect to these guys too, so we can clear some of these guys as well. They're 10, 10, 10, 15. All right, these guys are certainly smaller, so we can get them taken care of a bit earlier and a bit more sort of broadly, rather than only taking care of a couple of slots and still not having enough room to do everything we need to do. So let's go ahead and collect some from up over there, some from over here, and some from over here as well. We just have to collect 40 to move along with our mission objectives, but just trying to stay organized.
A connection with Dolus's lead data scientist, Emma Klein.
All right, we'll patch her through.
Administrator, Mr. Dolos has made it abundantly clear when it comes to security. Given the importance of the Tiqqun, we must have full control over what is happening inside the station. My name is Emma Klein, Dolos's lead data scientist and member of the Marduk Council. My department have just completed final synchronization between Eden and our data treatment tool, the DLS. The DLS, or Data Listening System, is capable of scanning, recording, and parsing exchanges of any kind. The DLS programming that is a part of Eden will filter all data collected and bring to your attention only the most relevant information. It will also provide you with a condensed overview of any situations that may arise and formulate potential future outcomes. It will permit you to give direct orders without having to go through additional unnecessary paperwork. Eden will then take care of everything via their DLS accreditation. As is often the case with tools produced by my department, I think you'll find that once you start using the DLS, you'll never be able to do without it. Oh, and before I let you go ahead and start writing history, Dr. Munshi, our lead medical expert, wanted me to bring to your attention a possible side effect of vol jumping. Whilst there is a correlation between prolonged space travel and the development of early onset dementia, he believes that a vol jump has the potential to accelerate this process, although this is yet to be proven. His recommendation is for you to immediately send any crew members that are exhibiting uncharacteristic or symptomatic behavior to an infirmary, as these facilities are equipped to treat the mind as well as the body. Remember that all of your actions and choices are being reported by Eden. We are not affiliated with any national or even international organization. The only people that you are answerable to are those of us who sit on the Marduk Council, who represent the collective interests and ambitions of the company.
I love how she just buries it in there that space madness is going to be an issue. But yes, like I said, this game has some significant Frostpunk vibes. We're dealing with things like, space madness, people's overall morale, making sure, all of our things are positioned appropriately for whatever harshness awaits us in the void of space. We're dealing with things like trust in the administrator, and we're from time to time going to be dealing with events. Now, this first event is about communal dining, and it doesn't really give us many options to choose from, but future events will absolutely give us options, and they will have consequences, of course, and they will reflect what kind of administrator we actually are. But for the time being, let's take a look at communal dining. Administrator, Tiqqun crew members are currently unable to access food supplies. Neocon protocols direct the construction of a mess hall. This building is designed to distribute food from our stockpiles to the crew. Guaranteeing access to food supplies would reaffirm your competency as an administrator. Very well, let's ensure access to food, and in order to do that, we're actually going to go ahead and build a couple of buildings down over here. Again, I kind of want this to be our residential space, and the reason why I'm nudging it up to this level is because I know there's a building coming soon that will need, this level of depth, so I'm planning ahead just to make sure we don't put our foot firmly in our mouth and other orifices as time goes on. Let's close this transmission over here. Thank you very much. And let's go ahead and chase after, yes, the mess hall. Now, what I'm going to do with the mess hall is I think we'll place it over here, leaving how many slots do we leave on this side if we do that? Or do I place you over here? That's the thing. Organizing our space is so important because we only have so much room. Yes, we have many sectors to unlock, but each sector has to be self-sufficient in many ways. So we have to make sure we're not being overly wasteful. So if I place the mess hall over here, we'll have one, two. Well, I wish it was easier to count the actual grid out without having something blocking my view. But you know what? Here, let's take a chance. What's the worst that could happen? Let's make sure you're facing the right direction and pop our mess hall down over there, and you'll see our drones will actually, again, physically move those resources to the construction site, and then after they're done moving resources over, we'll see the construction mech move over to actually build the building up as well. So all the positioning, the location of goods and resources and buildings matter because, this movement takes time. And as I said previously, in an emergency situation, you want to make sure things are where you need them to be as quickly as you need them there. Let's go ahead and make sure we're clearing up some more space up over here. I think these guys are smaller piles, so they'll be cleared up a bit more readily. And we can perhaps concentrate on some of these guys down the line. Maybe this guy's easy to clean it up. But what are we going to get by freeing up that much space? It's not big enough to actually build anything there, so we'll leave it be for the time being and perhaps expand a bit further in this general direction to clear some room out over there as our wonderful mess hall here has been completed, but we now need a second stockpile. This stockpile is going to focus on storing food, so we're going to go ahead and keep it close to our mess hall over here. I suppose, no, of course it won't fit here because this guy is blocking us. Both of these guys are blocking us, and they are rather large. Fair enough. So the stockpile can pop down over here. I think it makes sense, right, to have your food stored close to where it's actually being distributed. So we'll go ahead and pop you down over here. Yes, it'll take some time to build, but it will also consume some alloys, freeing up some more room to clear out some of these buildings here, and I think you as well. That's another 20. I think we'll still have some extra room left over, but I just want to be careful. I want to be, again, strategic about our space that we're clearing out before I find myself literally pushed into a corner, unable to expand as needed, and needing to redo some of our work, because that is always, as you might imagine, a bit of a bummer. But this is looking pretty good. Yeah, that's up to 98, so nothing else can really be emptied, so we'll leave the next assignment until later while we tell this stockpile to start stockpiling food.
Administrator, I have an incoming transmission from Marduk Council member Henry Bargeville.
Now patch him through.
Bonjour, Administrator. What a wonderful day to embrace our fate, don't you think? I'm Henri Bargeville, writer, philosopher, lobbyist, but most of all member of the Marduk Council. I have taken the liberty of personally arranging an exchange out of courtesy with the Oceanabe, a ship in high orbit belonging to one of our commercial allies, the Ashtongites. Even though they are a small organization, the Ashtongites are important partners who share the same pragmatic, moralistic, and spiritual outlook as we do. The Oceanabe will provide us with a source of food while carrying out the Tiqqun's initial testing. By making it the first exclusive trade partner of the Tiqqun, we will demonstrate to our long-term allies that Dolos wishes for them to share in our successes. Please assign a cargo ship so that we can check the trade routines. Administrator, trust in genetic connectors. Self-similar space will reveal the pattern.
So, of course, if you were expecting that all of our resources would be collected through piles of junk across the sectors of the Tiqqun, you were mistaken. We are going to tap into things like relationships with other space stations and other opportunities. I don't know what that might mean, as we leave our solar system, but we are going to be exploring, yes, whatever region of space we're in, to go around mining, to go around, finding pickups and various events in space as well. So it's not like everything that happens solely on our station. Right now, we have started collecting a bunch of food. It looks like the mess hall is able to feed people, but I believe we have to wait until a meal cycle for that feeding to actually happen. As you can see, we have 85 starving crew members in Sector 1, and that begins after they miss a meal cycle. So hopefully the next meal cycle will have everybody covered, and we won't have to worry about this warning notification down here any further. Now, we are looking to build a cargo ship and a science ship up over in our docking bay. In order to do so, we will need some alloys, and in order to get those alloys, we're going to, of course, need to build another stockpile. There are alloys on the ship right now. Some of these piles are alloy piles, so we'll go ahead and again clear the room strategically, making space where we think we're going to need it next, while also looking for opportunities to get this piled up as well, and remove some of these other piles. Let's go ahead and demolish this road, or do we want to put you know what, no, this will fit nicely. So why don't we go ahead and put the small stockpile up over here against the wall, again underneath the sign, so we don't have to worry about blocking exit access for certain buildings that can only be placed on the edge. And once that's done being built, we'll get it using alloys, and hopefully we'll get these cargo and science ships built shortly. While we're waiting for all this to happen, let's take a look at this event available over here, which is about quarters. Administrator, some crew members are lacking quarters. During human history, unnecessary homelessness has always been an indicator of civilizational decay. Do not reproduce humanity's basic mistakes aboard the Tiqqun. So again, it comes to us to decide what we prioritize. What kind of administrator are we? I think I would like to be a benevolent administrator. I think I would like to take care of, this first group of humans actually exploring deep space and beyond. So yes, I'm going to try and have a moral compass, but we'll see how it falls apart the further and further we get into the game, right? So yes, let's ensure all crew are quartered within 12 cycles. It shouldn't be too challenging as long as we're able to clear up the room for it, because we'll need to build out some of the population-related buildings, particularly the crew quarters. They house up to 15 crew members in limited quality accommodation. I read limited quantity at first, immediately disappointed to read that it's actually limited quality. But if it's 15 and we need room for 80 citizens, that's 79 citizens is a very weird... Did someone die from starvation or something? That would be rather unfortunate. I do notice we have a meal cycle active right now, and the warning about food will hopefully go away after this meal cycle is done, because otherwise we're in a bit of trouble. But let's stay focused on the task at hand before we fail this this objective and have people lose faith in us and drop our trust rating, right? So let's go ahead and build up some of these crew quarters. Yes, I want to make sure we leave enough room to fill this all the way to the edge, so that'll take 3. And of course this road is blocking us right now, but that's just for the time being. So 3 and 3, right? And so we should be able to build another one right over here, another one right over... I wonder if I want to kind of change it up so it looks a bit more interesting. Sure, like that, and then like so. And now what's going to happen is these guys are going to consume some alloys, which should free up some room up over here, allowing us to empty more of these guys out. So why don't we go ahead and empty you, and hopefully we'll have this room cleared up so we can build up some more of these guys. I mean, 80 citizens, let's say. What is that? That means we need 4 of these structures, right? Because 15 times 4, no, that is not right. That's 60. We need more than that. But we should be able to make enough room over here if my arithmetic doesn't continue to fail me to fit all of these guys. As up over here, we're going to go ahead and assign, yes, alloys to store. And let's actually clean up some room over here by emptying this pile and this pile too, in case we have to get some of the housing spread down over there. Not a problem at all. Meanwhile, as the alloys are being collected, let's make sure this construction continues. Looks like we've already got it all queued up, right? So shouldn't take too long for these guys to get done. And of course, again, resources are physicalized, so they're being brought over from the piles to the stockpile, and then from the stockpile over to where they're needed, at which point in time, yes, construction will take place according to the queue, and we'll be able to do our first exploration into space. So how are things looking over here? I just want to keep an eye on things before I speed time up too much and find myself out of position. I want to make sure that, again, these houses get built. I want to make sure that we are fulfilling this objective, because 12 cycles sounds like a long time, but you know, we're already down to 9.5. It goes pretty quickly, and I'm only playing at 1 speed right now, so just trying to keep an eye out for potential trouble. 74, eh? 27 down over here, so that math, I can't tell if it adds up or not, because you know, some drones are mid process. As up over here we can see some gorgeous animations as far as construction is concerned. Honestly, this game is absolutely beautiful. It does some wonderful stuff as far as construction is concerned, as far as VFX are concerned. It is absolutely beautiful stuff, and I'm really pleased with how the game actually looks and functions as well, obviously, but I can't get over how beautiful some of these interactions and stuff are. Nonetheless, these 3 have been built up. They look rather shoddy, but hey, they are providing housing for the time being. 6 and 10. This is topped up, right? Okay, fair enough. So what we're going to do is actually build another... We're going to go ahead and build another set of crew quarters, I think. This hasn't been cleared up either. All right, fine. Another set of crew quarters up over here for the time being. I don't know if that'll line up nicely. We got 3 over here, 3 over here. That doesn't line up nicely. All right, let's go ahead and put some down, I think, up over here. Let's double stack them, because we're running out of time, right? Go ahead and put 3 down over there, and let's get the road built like so. Come on now. The road built like so. There we go. Excellent. That should be nice and clean, and hopefully again we'll empty the stockpile by enough to actually clear these guys out and further our expansion the way I actually want it to be, and have things looking neat and tidy. As up over here I believe we are finishing our next ship, or starting our next ship. We'll deal with our trade shortly. For the time being, I just want to make sure we accomplish this task, right, with all the housing and make sure that we're not worrying about homelessness for the time being. Let's go ahead and speed time up ever so slightly, because I do think we're on the right path over here. This guy needs to be emptied out as well, please and thank you. There we go, slowly but surely. Now let's go ahead and build this road out at the same time as the actual structures themselves, right? So there's the road, and let's get our crew quarters. Well, first of all, I have to demolish this, right? So let's go ahead and clear this out and build, yes, the crew quarters here and here, sure. I just want to rotate them so things look interesting. Right now, we're going to have an oversupply of housing, but that's fine, right? That's fine, because as our population grows, I want to make sure I don't fall behind on this task. But with all this done, we should be good as far as that objective is concerned. And now we can, yes, turn our attention to the cargo ship that's out there and have it acquiring food, right? So let's go ahead and get our cargo ship, the whale, chasing after food. And if we head on out to the planetary system map, we should see our cargo ship making its way over to the Urshanabi to pick up food and then haul it right back. And I'm really excited to see what more comes of these mechanics moving forward. But for the time being, at least, we're going to acquire food and, again, actually physically bring it in through the docking bay, as right now our science ship is leaving. As you can see, we fulfilled that objective. But yes, the cargo ship will come through in the docking bay and then actually, again, have to be emptied. It is physically carrying the goods that we told it to bring back, and as you can see, we have these drones now bringing food, the ones carrying the green canisters, to the food stockpile back over here. So, you know, arguably maybe we should have set the stockpile up over there so it empties a bit more quickly and it's able to leave a bit more quickly as well. But I don't think there's actually a concern there, because food, I think, first gets offloaded onto the building itself and then gets pulled down over here. Hopefully I don't live to regret some of these decisions. Nonetheless, we're being told to resolve the moon event on the planetary system map, so why don't we go ahead and get our science ship, the Galileo, headed towards the moon in order to investigate this event. We have a few other events that we'll have to pursue as well, and don't worry, I intend to explore as many of them as viable, obviously, because I do want to explore every nook and cranny.
Has arrived at its
Now, as the Galileo has arrived at the moon, let's go ahead and kick this event off right away. What are we looking at? An abandoned base. Summary of intelligence on the abandoned base. The base is out of commission. Auxiliary systems are operational and could be used to restore power. Transmission from the Galileo's team. We have reached the UN base. It is abandoned and depressurized. The surveillance system is still operational, awaiting orders. So now again here, time is a resource, just like all these other resources we have across the top over here for building a variety of things and keeping people alive and happy. Time is also a resource. Do we want to take 3 cycles to do both of these things? Do we want to only take 1 cycle, 2 cycles, etc., etc.? More of this stuff becomes more and more relevant and linchpin as we get into the deeper parts of the game, obviously, I imagine. But for the time being, I think we have the time to exploit the security vulnerability, hacking into the surveillance systems. The Galileo's team will access the base's central systems and retrieve any confidential data present. So we might be able to acquire some additional resources that we wouldn't get by simply dismantling the base without first exploiting the vulnerability. If we dismantle the base, the Galileo's team will dismantle the base and prepare useful resources for extraction. So again, decision making, let's exploit the security vulnerability first, and then we'll go ahead and as soon as this gets done, and we'll be able to tell by this filling up and also by a notification popping up on the side over here. But once that's done, we'll go ahead and explore what else happens at the moon. While back at the Tiqqun, things are looking all right, if not at least a little bit messy. Don't love some of this layout work, but I do believe we're able to place more of our crew members over here, so the roads are not hideous. Or, well, they are, but they're functional, they're functional. Let's get the infirmary down as well before people start suffering from God knows what. I think it'll fit nicely over here, and we'll end up with a nice kind of a shape as well. So let's pop the infirmary down before we start having issues, and it looks like we are already seeing some health issues. There are no active health buildings in Sector 1. Oh, no. 0 crew members are injured, but it's just warning us so we can get ahead of it before things really start to escalate, I suppose. Let's go ahead and get rid of the road over here. It is being used, yes, but I want to make sure I have it cleared out so that we can build down this way. As the Galileo has completed its action, let's go ahead and investigate the moon further. What do we have here? The transmission from the Galileo's team. We hacked into the main computer system as you ordered and retrieved several relevant research papers and data sets. The parts that are bold make me wonder a little bit. Are these things that the game is tracking in the background to, I don't know, judge my character at the end of the day or something? I'm not sure, but I'm curious. Or is it just highlighting relevant information? Could be either. Either way, ready for extraction, 10 science points. This is, of course, as you can imagine, crucial for our further development, but we'll talk more about that in just a moment as we end our data listening protocol here and proceed to, dismantle the base? Yes, I believe so. Let's go for it. And it'll take them, 2 cycles to do that. It shouldn't be too long. And at the same time, we can go ahead and keep pushing our acquisition of resources so we don't find ourselves falling behind. Let's pick you up. Let's pick you up as well. And let's go ahead and pick you up too. That should, I think, top us up and then some, actually. So it might not be a bad idea to build even more housing because, again, we're trying to clear up space, right? And eventually we'll need more housing. So it doesn't hurt to sort of, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. What other options do we have available? We've got these factories, the tech lab, which will be relevant very soon. And as far as space is concerned, we can at present only build the docking bay, which again is the same thing as this building up over here, to build mining ships, cargo ships, science ships, and support up to 3 ships. So you can see why eventually we might need multiple docking bays and why we'll need space along the edge of our sectors to actually place these docking bays, right? As far as maintenance is concerned, we still only have just these 2, so we're all built up outside of, pursuing more housing, I suppose, which let's hold off to see exactly how our expansion works and what we need urgently versus not, and make decisions accordingly, right? Let's not rush too much. Though with that said, let's go ahead and pick up the pace on time at the very least. Speed time up a little bit while we're waiting for the moon to get its task done. Though it looks as though we're not that far away from that. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and speed time up over here. And why don't we enjoy the view of our space station hovering above Earth? I mean, look at that. This game is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. My goodness. I am in love with how it just does everything. And it's beautiful in many ways. not just visuals, right? Like I was saying earlier. Nonetheless, it seems as though our work at the moon is done. Let's investigate the rest of this event over here. Transmission from the Galileo's team. The base has been dismantled. Although most equipment was damaged, we were able to prepare some usable resources for extraction. So we've got some more science and some more alloys as well. Excellent stuff, and it'll take some time for it to actually be transported over, though I do think the Galileo should be able to move before that's completed. Let's find out. Let's head on over to Saturn, and it looks like, no, you know what? It actually has to be there. So Galileo, stay put at the moon, get the task done over here, and then we'll go ahead and explore the situation at Saturn shortly thereafter, and then Mars as well, of course. Can't leave our space without visiting Mars, right? That would be rude. Nonetheless, back to the interior view to go ahead and build our tech lab and, yes, collect the science on the moon. I completely missed that up over there. Nonetheless, where's our tech lab? I believe it's under factories, tech lab, and again, this can only fit in the corner over here, which is why I wanted to align the road accordingly, right? So let's go ahead and place you where, buddy? Right over there? It would have been nice if we could fit it over here, I suppose, just to keep things organized, but fine. Let's go ahead and pop you down over there. Again, unfortunate that it has to be at the edge. I could maybe fit it in the middle over here, but for the time being, we'll pop it down there. If we do have to move it, we can. We are able to dismantle buildings, obviously. It's not like they're permanently placed, so the option is there. And this should eat up quite a few alloys, freeing the stockpile up to clear up some more room without us having to, again, build all that extra housing, right? Let's speed time up over here and just see some good progress. And again, just, you know, nice to see the interiors, nice to see the animation of all the construction going down. Just some nice, you know, touches. It's the little things sometimes that really make colony management and city building and colony building games stand out. And to me, things like seeing the actual alloys get stocked up at the construction site, you know, you can see these piles build up as these guys are delivering them, seeing the actual stockpiles themselves stack higher and higher as resources, you know, actually accumulate. It's just good stuff. It's just good little touches that make, in my opinion at least, a world of difference. And I'd be curious if anybody disagrees. I'd love to hear, you know, alternative opinions and stuff. I'm always open to that, but at least that's my opinion. Let's go ahead and collect some of these guys as well so we can keep expanding down this way if we need to. And I'm just curious how much more housing we'll actually need in this sector. Again, sectors operate somewhat autonomously as far as my understanding is concerned, but the Next Fest demo did not explore sector management. So when we get to that, I'll actually be learning it at the same time as recording it. So prepare for chaos, as out over here we can see the Galileo has completed its task at the moon. So now we can head on down to Saturn to see what's going on over here. It'll take some time to get there, but let's stay focused on the tech lab over here, which is almost done. And let's also make sure that our you know, alloy supply and stockpile doesn't empty out. Again, in case there's an emergency, we want to make sure resources are readily available, right? And I'm making a big deal of this, perhaps a little prematurely, but I got to build these habits so that down the line, when things are falling apart, you know, we're at least prepared mentally for the task at hand. As up over here, I'm glad to see the trust in the administrator is up at 88%. People are by and large quite happy, at least in this sector, and it's all coming from a major buff, I suppose, and people living mostly in crew quarters, and also hull integrity being over 25%. Yes, we can take damage to our hull, and I can only imagine how that might end. Now, we've arrived at Saturn. Let's go ahead and take a look at the situation over here. What do we have? Dark side of Saturn. Saturn data summary. A signature trace from an EKP system has been detected near Saturn. EKP technology is the exclusive property of Dolos, but records indicate that the company has not deployed any missions to this sector. This signature will soon enter the atmosphere of Saturn. Oh, curious? See, exploring these events will reveal, you know, other plot points and storylines and stuff, so we want to try and stay on top of them as best as possible. We can either send a team to investigate, or we could attempt to locate debris in orbit. So if we just try to locate debris, we'll wait until the signature has passed through the atmosphere, and then have the Galileo team analyze EKP residues and verify the signature's origin, or we can send a team to investigate. The Galileo's team will perform EVA to locate and investigate the signature. I think we should look into this because this is certainly a strange set of circumstances. Yes, send a team to investigate. It'll take the same amount of time either way. I think I'm okay taking that risk, and hopefully everybody doesn't just end up dead or something. I'm not sure how that event actually plays out, as down over here the tech lab is now being built. Again, you can see our little construction mech in there getting the work done. You know, I should I should make clear that these are actually manned mechs. I call some of these things drones because I do believe... Oh, you know what? Actually, they're being driven around as well. There are people in these vehicles, so they're not drones. They are actual vehicles being driven by people to get the tasks done. That makes sense. Just thought I'd check before I continue to dehumanize all the people who put so much trust in the administration. Right? That would be horrible of me to do. Nonetheless, let's speed time up as this construction continues, and we can also actually, on the topic of people, take a look at our population management screen over here really quickly, just to point out the level of detail that you can actually see and how we can actually, you know, affect change to our circumstances, I suppose, and actually keep a track of all of our sectors in one area. I mean, my goodness, there's so many moving parts in this game. I'm really excited to explore them all. As up over here, how are things looking? Still about 1.5 cycles before we're done. Fair enough. So we'll keep our eyes on the tech lab over here, while also keeping an eye on opportunities to stockpile more resources. Why don't we go ahead and clear you out just to make room there, and that should top you up.
I have an incoming transmission from Dolus's head of medicine, Dr. Abhinav Munshi.
All right, patch him through.
Greetings, Administrator. I'm Dr. Abhinav Munshi, Dolo's expert in compartmentalism and medicine, and a member of the Marduk Council. I'm glad to finally meet you, even in this digital manner. Your psychological test results were quite impressive. My friend and colleague, Philip Stanford, couldn't be here today, so I will take the role of introducing you to the final stages of the Vol engine integration. Before we get into that, however, we would like you to complete the testing station's exploration and enhancement capabilities. You'll then be able to begin researching the EVA airlock and assess its compatibility with the Tiqqun's core systems. I hope that the work of our team will ensure that you're equipped to deal with most situations you encounter up there. Before I leave you, Stanford would like me to remind you that space is a far less fanciful and forgiving environment than science fiction would have us believe. It would be wise to remember that.
Plenty of foreshadowing going down constantly. Nonetheless, we have to construct the Vol engine next. Let's go ahead and close this transmission, and the first order of business to actually accomplish that objective is to research EVA airlocks. Now, the tech tree is rather impressive. There are a lot of rings that you can see that require us to research prior technologies before revealing and even unlocking the further rings outside from the center. But beyond what you're seeing listed over here, if we actually click into something, you'll see there are lots of upgrades and stuff we can research as well. So this research tree is not only quite wide with its a great diameter, yeah, and apart from that, it's also quite deep because it does have, details for each of these pips. But let's go ahead and research the EVA airlock. That will take some time, of course, 2.5 cycles. Everything runs on cycles here, and once that's done, we can move on. But you can also see some interesting options already revealed over here. For example, insect farms, of course, alternative protein sources, right? That's where the future of eating is potentially headed, especially as per, all of these survival games that are set in either the post-apocalypse or in space or whatever it might be. So insect farms, and you know what, actually, it's interesting. The Next Fest demo allowed you to actually see what technologies awaited you outside your inner rings, but in this final build, we can't see them, and that's kind of cool. I'm not sure what order they'll be in. Of course, things have been updated since then, but I'm excited to explore the tech tree when the time comes. Let's go ahead and close the tree for now and head on outside to see what's up with our science ship over here at Saturn with the data summary. So, well, hang on. What? This is from before. I thought we already sent the team to investigate. It says time required to complete 0. Are we just short of pulling it off? Why? Did they start over? What happened there? Did that bug out on me? I could have sworn it said it's completed its action at the event. No, that's Moon. All right, fair enough. Look, we've got some time to spare. I'm not too concerned. It is the opening acts of our campaign, so perhaps I made a mistake there, but we'll see what plays out over here in, I guess, 2 cycles time. As back at the Tiqqun, we are still researching the EVA airlock, and there's still plenty of work to do before we're, ready to make a big move as far as our actual position in space is concerned. Now, it shouldn't take too much longer. We're at speed 3. And in just a moment's time, we will indeed, yes, have access to EVA airlocks. Let's go ahead and build one immediately over here. That will empty our stockpile quite a bit. And again, this is one of those structures that has to be built along the edge of our sectors. So we've got plenty of room up over here. And again, as I was mentioning earlier, we can't actually build anything where the sector sign is. So we've left enough room. Let's make sure we leave enough room for another stockpile. It's 4 grids wide, right? So want to make sure we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and +1 perhaps for a road at the back there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots, and pop you down there. Looks quite nice as well. It's somewhat aligned with the with what's across from it, I suppose. And that just leaves room again for properly organized storage and things like that. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and build the road out a bit further this way, I think, so we can go ahead and start pulling from these guys and refill the stockpile. And let's have all this happen double time. And let's also keep an eye out for the situation down over here. I want to make sure I don't miss this and things don't go awkwardly again as they did just moments ago. But we should be done here shortly.
A science ship team has completed a task.
Okay, good stuff. And if I click this, oh, beautiful. So a prototype rocket sent by the UN seems to use a variation of EKP. We have stripped it down and recovered schematics. Good stuff. Gained some extra research or science points, I suppose. And are we able to further explore the event here? No. So again, it's not always that you'll be able to do everything that the game presents. Obviously, that's, you know, a fast way to make choices not actually matter. So we made our choice. Hopefully we chose right, and we do still have to go over to Mars, unless I'm mistaken, and after we're done collecting the science over here, we'll have access to... No. Alas, who knows what we left behind, but it is what it is. The Galileo can now make its way over to Mars. It'll take a fair bit of time to actually travel to there, and then who knows how long it'll take for us to actually see what's going on, as if we take a look around our system here, I think we're in the clear after Mars has been taken care of. Okay, very well. Then let's go ahead and stay focused on our lovely station over here. Once the EVA airlock has been built, we're going to be delving into some additional management conversations. So let's speed time up over here and get the job done quickly as we begin collecting some of these alloys down over here as well. Probably want to clear some of this out as well. It's so tightly packed, and some of these guys are rather small, so it'd be nice to make the room sooner rather than later, I suppose, as construction over here has begun. All right, good stuff, good stuff. Again, shouldn't take too long as we are moving at triple speed. But once this airlock is done, we'll be able to start doing some work on the exterior of the Tiqqun. There is the option to build on the exterior, and there's a variety of types of things that need to be built out over here, including, for example, solar panels or the Vol engine, which is our greater objective right now, right? If you didn't notice it earlier, yes, power is a thing we have to concern ourselves with as we hit our blackout.
Levels of electricity generation. Sector 1's power demand has overloaded. Stanford routines recommend that you construct an external solar panel to boost overall electrical output.
All right, so let's get that task completed right away. We'll do that with the help of our EVA airlock over here by clicking on it and dismissing this transmission, and clicking on external construction, revealing a bunch of options as far as, yes, solar panels and engines and external systems. For the time being, those are just the EKP engine and the Vol engine, but we can't do anything without actually having enough power, right? So again, across the top, we can see our electricity consumption. If we run out of power, we'll suffer a blackout. Again, our status is currently overloaded. We have just not enough power to sustain all of our currently active buildings. Now, we do have the option, of course, to shut some of these buildings down if any of them are, for example, not occupied. Like this one, we can go ahead and turn it off and you know, preserve some power, and you can see that -5 is now a -4. Obviously, doing something like shutting the tech lab down will make a bigger difference, but that kind of management stuff I think will become more and more important down the line. People are starting to go hungry though, so let's go ahead and you know what, turn the tech lab off to make sure meals are being provided and housing is comfortable, while we also, yes, take a look at external construction and go ahead and build the first of many small solar panels to come. So we will physically see the design of our space station change, of course, as we build some of these things out. But in the meanwhile, we're waiting for our alloys to be delivered, or rather, polymers to be delivered. And if we go into our interior view, we'll see, of course, those very same resources being brought over, stored up, and then being used to build on the exterior of our station. Again, it just looks good. It's just cool to see it all happen, you know. And are we going to see the construction go down as well? we are able to, there we go. I was just wondering if I'd be able to find it, but you can see the construction of these solar panels, and again, it gets more and more impressive as some of these projects get bigger and bigger. So it's just cool to see, and I quite like the visualization of it as well. But once the solar panel has been completed, we should have much more power available, and we should be able to actually get our tech lab running as well. Let's go ahead and turn you back on. And yeah, we're looking good. Perfect. Excellent. Finish implementing the Vol engine via the build panel in the external view. Well, before we get into that, I want to make sure we are dealing with Mars as well. What do we have here? Healthy competition. Is it now? Is it? Mars scan report. The UN has established a facility on Mars. Its crew are currently lacking the materials required to repair a critical fault in their oxygen supply system. They have submitted an official request to Dolos for aid. Dolos? I'll figure it out eventually. I find it interesting that the UN is being represented as this competition, or in a way, the enemy. I suppose we could say, not necessarily, not literally, but we are being placed opposite them. And it's just kind of interesting. Again, we are working for a corporation, and I'm really curious to see how and when the corporation bears its fangs. Now, do we want to repair the fault in exchange for resources? Do we want to repair the fault in exchange for research data? Or do we want to refuse to help the facility? Space is a hostile place. We do not go there without knowing the consequences. Again, there is a moral compass involved over here. I think we can go ahead and pursue research data as opposed to resources. I think that makes sense. Sure. We will send the Galileo's crew to utilize Tiqqun's resources to help repair the fault, and in exchange we will receive some research data. Let's go ahead and do that, and let's assign the Whale, our cargo ship, to actually move these goods that these guys need over the course of 1.4 cycles to, I think, get there. I don't know if that includes coming back, but let's go ahead and get you going. Confirm that. Yes, thank you. And now if we actually head on back to the interior of the Tiqqun, we should see these resources again get shipped over, and we'll actually have our cargo ship go out and deliver the goods. I'm sorry for belaboring the point over here and for pointing out what might be, I suppose, the obvious to many, but I do just think it's absolutely cool. It is just cool to see our decisions and our actions play out in real time, to see the ship come through, load up on all of those goods and then be sent right back out. These animations are beautiful, the models are beautiful. I'm in love with the aesthetic of this game. And now if we zoom out to the system map, we'll see there's our cargo ship, the Whale, making its way over to Mars to help. There's just something absolutely monumental about the scale of our movement here. So let's head on into our Tiqqun. Let's actually get to the exterior view here, because we can just commission the construction from out over here. And let's, get the Vol engine going. Now, that'll take 100 alloys, which I do think we have access to. But just to be sure, let's head back on into the interior and see what we're looking at. Yeah, we're okay, but I don't want to find myself in a troubles spot afterwards. So let's go ahead and collect from over here as well, just to make sure we have our stockpile secure, as over here these guys are, yes, loading up. And if we just take a look at the exterior, hopefully we'll be able to catch construction as it happens. I do believe it gets attached to the back over here, and we should see a rather large item be built out. As off in the distance, I hope we are seeing work done to help Mars. Let's just go ahead and take a quick peek over here. The cargo ship is about halfway there. Okay, good stuff. Eyes back on the prize over here with our exterior view. And just absolutely just beautiful, just gorgeous. Nonetheless, eyes on the prize. Like I said, I want to see this construction. I want to show you just how beautiful it looks. As you can see, our solar panel there, our freshly built solar panel is making a round on this side and on this side as well. They come in pairs, I assume. But where is this Vol engine coming through? Are we not done loading up on resources yet? No, we're not. Okay, cool. So I think we load up on resources first, and then we actually see the construction get done. And you might have noticed a couple times now, as the science ship finishes its job, you might have noticed a couple times, whenever I commission a construction on the exterior, we actually get a heads up that we can't do repairs to the hull while exterior construction is happening. So again, I'm sure there will be tense moments where that becomes much more relevant than right now. As up over here, the cargo ship is on its way back, doing what? I'm not sure. I think it's just moving, and what's actually happening at Mars itself. The oxygen supply system has been repaired, and the relationship between Dolos and our competitor has improved by 42%. Oh, Now, that's interesting. Relationship management was not something that was, I think, even mentioned when this was just a Next Fest demo. So that is very interesting. As we've acquired 10 more science points, let's go ahead and make sure to extract those before we, make our big moves, right? Let's see our exterior view over here again. And now we can actually speed time up because I'm not too worried about missing anything. People are being fed, they're being housed, they're relatively happy. They've got full trust in the administration, so I think we're okay on that front. And there's not much else for us to do but wait for the construction of the engine. Yes, didn't take too long. Construction has begun now, I believe. And I hope I'm looking in the correct spot here. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Look at that. I just think it's beautiful. I don't know. I'm a sucker for these things. I like the level of dedication here. Oh, look at that. Just slight, subtle, beautiful animations. Anyway, I'm gushing. My apologies. Let's take a look at this incoming transmission.
Administrator, because of your continued successful management of the Tiqqun, Dolos have authorized the dispatch of new crew members and food supplies. Please ensure that they have suitable accommodation once you reach Proxima Centauri. Administrator, a new request awaits your attention.
All right, good stuff. Let's go ahead and close the transmission there, and I suppose keep an eye out for additional people coming through. Bring the remaining workers from the Urshanabi on board the Tiqqun. Okay, fair enough. Let's head on out to our system map, I suppose, and what do we got here? Oh, I see. I guess we'll have to tell you to actually bring people over as well in the cargo ships. My goodness, referring to people as cargo. I think that's intentional. I don't think it's just a matter of making the UI cleaner or anything like that. I think that's 100% intentional with the tone of the game I'm seeing so far. People are just more cargo to ship back and forth. Where actually is... Okay, there we go. There's the whale bringing people back. I do hope we have enough housing for everybody. We'll keep an eye out on our circumstances, but I do believe this will increase our population, and I do believe we will immediately need to provide some more housing, right? Otherwise, I'll be quite surprised. Are you still bringing in food? You are. Don't do food anymore. Stop doing food. How do I adjust your... There we go. Get rid of that. And it looks like they actually brought in 20 people as well. Oh, yeah, there we go. 99 is our population. So let's make sure we have housing for everybody here. And I might be rushing this a bit, getting all these crew quarters down before absolutely necessary. But I don't think it's a terrible idea to try and stay ahead of the curve as we put one down over here, one down over here, I suppose. Let's go ahead and get this road built up as well. And I think at that point, we'll go ahead and build some more over here, maybe. Just not sure about my overall layout, right? I quite like it, so sure, let's stick to it. Let's stick to it. Now, how do I want you facing? Perhaps this way or perhaps this way? Just so it's lined up. It's a bit more symmetrical and visually nice to look at, I guess. What do we have over here? Let's flip you around like so. Again, kind of matching up with what's going on the other side. Now let's go ahead and pop a few more of you down like so. Sure, that should do the trick. I haven't done the math, obviously, but we'll keep an eye out for any warning signs. Looks like 9 people are homeless, but there's a lot more coming our way, right? We'd already gotten ahead of things because we built so many extra houses at the beginning, and I didn't actually know, or remember, I should say, that the 100 additional workers were coming. So I'm glad I planned ahead without realizing I was planning ahead. But I guess I should say I thought ahead, right? I kind of saw this coming without actually knowing it was coming. But it doesn't hurt to have an extra surplus, though down the line I'm sure these guys will end up being able to house many more people. If we look at the tech tree, for example, if we take a look at Shorely, there's an option for crew quarters. Yes, we have additional beds, we have smart homes, we have optimized quarters. Yeah, all right, fine, good stuff, but that stuff is a long ways away, at least as far as I can tell for the time being, as over here we have yet another event. What's going on here? With impending starvation. Administrator, food supplies are dwindling. Despite claimed control protocols, some crew members have become aware of this. They're worried food will soon run out. Making a public commitment to increase food production would squash only simmering rumors about your management skills. Sorry, any simmering rumors. Interesting. Pledge that there will be 3 insect farms in the Tiqqun within 10 cycles, or refuse. Dolos administrators are not beholden to rumor. I mean, we did just see a huge influx of people, so we will pledge there will be 3 insect farms in the Tiqqun within 10 cycles. Okay, this is exciting because this is actually different from the Next Fest demo. I'm glad it's so different. Let's go ahead and research insect farms, make sure that gets done ASAP, 2.5 cycles, and then we actually have to build 3 of them out, right? Let's close the tech tree, and as all that's going down, let's make sure we are acquiring additional alloys to keep this thing fully stocked up and to keep all these things built. And let's go ahead and check out, yes, our incoming transmission over here.
Administrator, the different phases of preparation, calibration, and verification were successfully completed. You must now start the full bonding procedure. Dolos protocols now deem you competent to gather resources, knowledge, and test colonization routines once you reach Proxima Centauri. Before you do so, Vanir Dolos, Marduk Council founder and Dolos CEO, wants to talk to you.
All right, let's get the party started there, because this is worrying me. The research is actually taking a lot longer than I'd expected. So in the middle of this next transmission, I might have to very quickly commission the construction of the 3 insect farms. We're not going to have the room cleared out over here, so I might instead build them perhaps down over here or down over here, close to where food distribution actually takes place. But yeah, I need to keep an eye on this, and it will be happening at the same time, I think, as the CEO's conversation. I love it. He just wants to talk our ear off while we have, actual serious work to do. That sounds vaguely familiar, doesn't it? Let's go ahead and check out this next transmission.
Hello, Administrator. I'm glad to see that you have managed to complete your assignments in preparation for this unique moment in history. You must understand that this is not simply another chapter in humanity's story. The book of our life on Earth is over, and we stand now at its epilogue. It saddens me to think that there are many who have yet to comprehend the reality of our situation. We've endured endless cycles of war, crisis, and famine. Still, the worst is yet to come. There are others like Dolos who have prepared for this outcome, but most of our kind remain sheltered from the horror of the predicament we find ourselves in. This pale ghost of civilization will wither and die, and with it, the tenets and values of the past. As we prepare to leave this system for the first time, perhaps we must decide which fragments we will pick up and take forward with us. Through Dolos, I am offering mankind an alternative means of survival. The Tiqqun is a tablet upon which we will carve our new history. Do you recognize why I have done all of this? Having foreseen our fate, I became fixated on altering it. I set about fashioning the ropes and tying the knots that would bind together this magnificent ship. It is true that our time in this world is brief, but at least I can rest assured knowing that my legacy will endure for eons. Farewell, Administrator. For the few who stand in the light and the many who dwell in the dark, you carry the fate of us all.
Very, very nicely said. Yes, thank you. I appreciate the accolades and stuff. I genuinely kind of stopped paying attention to him partway through as the reality of the situation dawned on me. We don't have the perfect layout over here to put the insect farms exactly where I would like them to go for the time being, but in the interest of impending starvation, I suppose we could build these guys out, and then down the line we could reassess the circumstances and place them elsewhere. I was just hoping to see this guy get done, but do we have time to waste? I don't think so. So let's pop this insect farm down over here for the time being. I can be a bit of a stickler for having things be neat and tidy, so this is going to drive me up a wall until we're able to, yes, clean it up. So hopefully we'll get the chance to do that. And as all this construction is happening inside, we'll go ahead and close the transmission and head on out to our planetary system map view to move the Tiqqun into orbit of the moon. So we have the Tiqqun over here shipping on over to, yes, the orbit of the moon. And we'll actually again see on this map, of course, movement as all power from the main grid will be diverted to the EKP systems during the 0.7 cycle Tiqqun movement. I think we should be okay. We don't have any batteries powering anything just quite yet, but I think this is a risk we're comfortable taking right now. So yes, let's make the move. And if we actually pop on into the interior, we'll see, yes, there is a bit of a situation over here. There is no power, but it did look as though we were still able to see construction, or, oh no. They finished delivering those goods and then they stopped. Okay, that's a little concerning, but hey, we're almost there. And before we get there, I want to see the exterior view so that we can actually see us moving away from Earth and pushing into the orbit of the moon. I don't know if you caught it there, but we were sort of popping reverse thrusters to slow us as we approach the moon, and now we're actually rotating in space as well to align ourselves as needed. But I do quite love just, again, how all that stuff is visible. It's actually happening. You can actually zoom out to see it in action. Alas, we were distracted by the circumstances in here where we're cutting it kind of close, truth be told. We're cutting it real close. Let's go ahead and build the road up over here. Now, it'll take about the same amount of time to get the alloys delivered and construction done. It's not the end of the world if we fail this objective, don't get me wrong, because all it'll do is just hurt some of the trust in us, but I would like to not lose any trust right off the bat. I mean, this should be relatively simple stuff, right? We should be able to come out on top over here without any trouble. But now we're just waiting for the construction guy, I guess, to make his way over and build this thing. We have 3-ish cycles. All right, looks like we're okay. And as that gets done, we'll hopefully see some of these spots get emptied out, and maybe we can rearrange some of these guys and clean things up. But as our task here is done, we'll see, yes, we've built 3 insect farms, and these guys are going to produce 1 food each per cycle. So it's not a lot of productivity, but hey, at least it's something, and it's good to actually have this in place before we get too far away from the safety of our home system, right? But let's, I guess, prepare our vol jump. So over to the planetary system map. Over to the vol engine. First, a quick look around our system to make sure I haven't left anything behind before we move on. Looks like we're all clear. So yes, it's time to depart using the vol engine. All power from the main grid will be diverted to the engine during the 0.5 cycle charge preceding ignition. Sectors will be powered by batteries during this time. Again, we do not have batteries, and again, the charging procedure cannot be interrupted or cancelled. I love these warnings because eventually they're going to become extremely relevant. But for the time being, I think we're okay. Everything's in place. So yes, let's charge the vol engine.
In accordance with Stanford procedures, all ships must return to the Tiqqun before vol jump initiation.
Must I give these orders then? The vol charge is happening. Oh yeah, there's the science ship making its way back automatically. I'm glad it automates those systems as we are charging up our engine, and we're currently operating on battery. Which, do we actually have some? No, we don't have any battery. There's our charge done. Am I ready to jump? Did our ship make it back? I don't know, but fingers crossed it did. I'm sure it wouldn't allow us to jump if it hadn't. I guess we'll find out when we finish our jump.
The Earth, our home, she is unique. Held in its bosom are the ingredients of evolution. Beyond raw survival, beyond the safety of comfort, we, humanity, pursue something greater. We have learnt, persevered, shaped our knowledge from that which is found in the furthest realms of science. However, humanity has brought destruction to the Earth, polluted its blood, choked its breath. Today we are paying the price for this. We know the taste of a dying world. But the Earth is not to be our grave. A mother does not wish to see her children disappear with her. She wishes to see instead courage in her children, to carry on. Dolos carries this courage. We have gone further than any nation, moved faster than any corporation, hand in hand with those who, like us, carry that courage. The Tiqqun Station is both an epilogue of these endeavors and a prologue to humanity's next steps. Our Council of Scientists leads the vanguard. They know, as do we all, that the survival of humanity now depends on what we glimpse out there in the dark. That we are masters of our own destiny. That we must go as a species bound together, pushing further into the unknown. We set sail on this new sea because there is hope to be found, horizons to explore, and because our very existence depends on it. I give you the stars. I give you the full engine.
Preliminary diagnostics. Several anomalies detected. Multiple digital security breaches found within full jump routines. Full engine critically damaged. Hull integrity compromised. Analysis confirms discrepancies between the mission clock and the apparent advanced state of the solar system. We are receiving no communication signals from Earth. Likelihood of ongoing survival stands at approximately 7.67%. Activating Marduk survival protocols. New mission objective established. Ensure humanity's survival by finding a habitable exoplanet. Urgent issues requiring immediate attention. Increase food production output. Restore hull integrity.
Alright, folks. How wild was that? Can you imagine that little Steve Jobs-esque video? And the destruction of the moon was the actual reveal trailer for this game. So you can see why I was excited about it from the word go. I mean, that has had my anticipation just climbing and climbing. And the Next Fest demo stopped similarly as well. Just as the moon explodes, it brings everything to an end. So everything we're about to see now onward is completely fresh to me. I have not seen it before. I have no idea what to expect, and I am really excited to see exactly what this world holds for us. Now, when I saw the debris behind us, I'd assumed maybe we were still, you know, near Earth. Or I assume we caused this destruction on arrival at the new system. But instead, it seems as though we're still near home. Well, this is interesting, folks. I'm very curious to see how all this unfolds, and for that we're going to have to wait until next time. Let me know down below, folks, if you would like to see this series continue. Leave a comment, leave a like if you enjoyed it, and you would indeed, yes, like to see more of it on the channel. I'm trying to figure out exactly where it fits into our schedule. Do we release an episode every other day? Do we do it like 3 times a week? Or, you know, what would you like to see actually as far as this game is concerned? Because right now, let me tell you, I am very excited to see how the story unfolds and how we're actually able to pull things off and hopefully maintain trust in the administration, as it seems to have dropped with 179 people here with issues, concerns, and God knows what else. Folks, hope you had a good time. If you did, again, you know what to do. Let me know down below by leaving a like and a comment. As always, it makes a very big difference. Just let me know what people would like to see on the channel. And on the topic of things that make a difference, I would like to give a massive thanks to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.